Greetings, this is Mrs. Lyons. I am going to show you how to create the graphs that you will need in order to answer the questions for the periodic trends graphing assignment. So I'm going to take you straight through how to open the documents, what documents you'll need. So if you start out on week 1 page, there are 2 documents here that you'll need. You'll first need the document that we used in class to define the first 6 vocabulary words. The second document you'll need is the document that has the data in it. Okay, so there's this data table where we pulled the data. Okay, go ahead and make a copy of that data table. Okay, and when you do that, you can then close the original file. So I'm going to try to keep it so that I have a minimum number of windows open. So the last thing you'll need to do is to create a new Google Sheets file. Okay, so now I have the 3 windows that I'm going to use. The first thing that I'm going to have you do, and we didn't do this in class, and it caused some people some issues with their graphs. Anywhere that you see a blank, I want you to go in and put a 0. So any of the boxes in the data table, no matter what column it's in, go ahead and go in and put a 0 in those columns. Okay. If you don't have zeros, if you've already done this, what you're going to find out is that it makes your data really messy, and it gives you lines that are kind of screwy and instead of the nice lines that we want to see the trends. Okay, so once you've done that, then what I want you to do is to make a copy, highlight this data table, all right, all the way through element 36, Krypton. Hit Control-C to copy, and I want you to paste that data table into the Google spreadsheet like this. Okay, and then I'm going to fix my columns so that I can see all of the words, because that drives me a little bit batty. Actually, I'm going to make them so that they are, the text is wrapped, so that I can keep all of my information on the same screen. So see what I'm doing here? I'm just making my columns a little bit narrower, but I'm making it so that the text, I'm using this text wrap feature. Okay. So let's do that here as well. This is my first time screencasting, so bear with me. The good news is for you guys that you will be able to fast forward through this and use the parts that you like and ignore the parts that seem very long and drawn out. Okay, so now that I've got my data so that I can see it nice and neat, I'm actually going to go and close this window just to keep it so that I have only the number of windows that I really need. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make the graph that we made in class. I'm going to do atomic number and atomic radius. So we're going to do atomic radius as a function of atomic number. So just like we did in class, I'm going to copy these 2 rows of data. I'm going to put each graph on a separate page. So I'm going to do Control-C. I'm going to go down here. I'm going to do the plus button to add a new sheet. Okay. I'm actually going to name that new sheet atomic radius. That way I know when I get all of my sheets down there, I know what's going on. Then I'm going to Control-V. I'm going to put my data into this separate sheet. Okay, and then finally I'm going to create my graph. So I'm going to highlight this data one more time. Just the numbers in the boxes, don't highlight the entire columns. Once you've got them highlighted, do insert charts. And when you do that, you should get this nice chart that looks like this. Okay, your chart should have a title on it. It should have labels on the axis, the X and the Y axis. And the other thing that you should check is there should just be one line. So just this blue line, there shouldn't be an additional line. Okay, if there is, you've got something that's not quite right. Okay, now if you remember in class, we need to kind of do some doodling on this graph. So we're not going to leave it right here. What we're going to do is we're going to move it into our Google document. That's the document that we're going to turn in on Haiku. So I'm going to Control C my graph. I'm going to highlight my graph, Control C. Then I'm going to go over to this Bellwork file, which again you should have made a copy of. I'm going to do that just so that I don't type on the original. All right, and then notice here it says copy each of your 5 graphs into this document. Well, I know that each graph goes with one of the questions. So I'm going to look, I see the question letter A relates to the atomic radius. So I'm going to put my atomic radius graph in here under question A. Now, we don't want to just Control V and paste it in because we want to be able to draw on it. So we're going to do this. We're going to insert drawing. And then when our drawing opens up, this is where we're going to hit Control V. And we're going to paste our chart. I like to paste them unlinked. If you paste it linked, if your data is wrong or something's messed up, if you go back and change it in the spreadsheet, it will change it. So you could do that. All right, so then I'm going to paste my graph in there. Okay, now, since we're looking at trends, what we want to do is we want to look at what happens to atomic radius. Remember, we said atomic radius is the size of the atom. We want to look at what happens to atomic radius as we move from left to right across a period, as well as top to bottom down a group. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to take a little bit of time and we're going to mark each area on this graph. We're going to mark the beginning element in each period, and then we're going to mark the last element in each period. Okay, so you should get your periodic tables out so that you can look at this and see what those elements are. Okay, so we're going to do this for periods 2, 3, and 4. So for period 2, if you look at your periodic table, lithium is the first element in period 2. Okay, the atomic number for lithium is 3. So I'm going to look down here on my x-axis. Starts at 0, 0 to 5. So atomic number 3. I'm actually going to select this scribble. All right, and I'm going to go right about here. I'm going to say is 3. I'm going to drag this up. So I'm going to say this point right here is going to be approximately atomic number 3. So that value at the top should be where lithium would be on this graph. Okay, the next period is period 3. The first element in period 3 is sodium. All right, the atomic number for sodium is 11. Okay, so here's 10. I'm going to go 1 over from 10. I'm going to say that, again, this peak on this graph is probably sodium. I'm going to do something else, too, just to kind of make this a little bit easier. I'm going to label. I'm going to label these points. So I'm going to say, so that I can remember. Okay, it'll help. So that's lithium, and then I said that this. Move that box up a little bit. That this is sodium. Whoops, sodium. Okay, and then we are going. Then the 4th period, the first element is the atomic number is 18. Yes, or excuse me, 19. Atomic number 19. and that is potassium. So we would circle potassium right here. I'm going to go ahead and put a text box here. I noticed that I'm running out of time on my video.